Okay, we are ready to start. So the next 35 minutes with three speakers to discuss a little bit more about the expanding horizons between the two countries, Greece and Romania. I invite now on the podium Mr. Nicolaos Vodiakos from Enerta. Hi, nice to meet you in person, and thank you very much for joining us. Please take a seat. Dan Fleșariu, CEO of Iron, a company coming from Romania. Hello, Dan. Have a seat. Thank you very much. And Filipos Falieros, Advisory Project Leader with Aurora Energy Research, a name you are probably very familiar with. Hi, Filipos. Thank you. Take a seat. We are privileged for the next minutes to also have some expert perspectives on the Greek market so that we can mix them together for at the end of these two sessions. And I will join you. I will start with the manager from Enerta, a company with, about which I heard 6 months ago, I believe, when I heard about their being ready to come in Romania and to launch an office in Bucharest. And I am curious now, and I invite you, like we did in the previous session, to say a few words about Enerta and about what you consider of interest in Romania at the moment, why deciding to be in Romania at present.
Thank you, Gabriel, for the invitation. I am Nikos Kolivodiakos. I am the head of operations of Enerta. Enerta is a Greek company established back in 1973. Actually, we are over 50 years in the field of energy and infrastructure. We are in partnership with more than 30 companies all over the world, experts in their field, and we are suppliers of the utilities in Greece, and also in the independent power producers and the EPC contractors in the private sector with equipment, solutions and services to cover all their needs that have to do either with the expansion, the modernization, the upgrade of the distribution and transmission networks, or in the private sector with the EPC contractors for building high voltage and medium voltage substations, but also recently, in the last 2-3 years, with the big development of the renewable energy solutions here in Greece, to build photovoltaic parks, connection to the grid, inverters, and also one thing which is very critical for the sustainability of the network, the energy storage systems.
It seems like the energy transition in Europe was designed for your company because we are active in all these areas you mentioned, from the grids.
We are just supporting all the players of the market to come together and to execute the projects.
What have you seen in Romania at the moment, and why do you consider a proper moment to open an office in Bucharest?
We see the market in Romania the way it was the market in Greece a couple of years ago. A lot of prospects for expansion, a small percentage in the energy production of renewable energy, but with targets, with ambitious targets, 10 gigawatt more of renewable energy to be built within the next 5 years to meet the target of 2030 for 30% of the
You heard about the prospects are the targets are not to be touched, but the
main thing
and the
is
ambitions remain.
The prospects of this market have also attracted our customers in the Greek market to enter the Romanian market. Our customers, because we are main supplier of Public Power Corporation, of HEDNO and of IPTO. We are also, I think, very good partners of the other Greek companies that have entered there, like Hellenic, like Bethlen, like Terna, like Titan Cement. So we have to follow our customers. We are trying to, let's say, apply the successful business model that we have done over the last 3 years, 4 years here in Greece, also in Romania.
Thank you. We'll come back to dive in a little bit more. Dan, I will ask you to say a couple of words about Wyron and about the Romanian general landscape. I know that you have prepared a map for us, so the technical team will help us to see it on the screen. A few words about Wyron.
Sure. Yes, we are a Romanian group of companies, actually. We started as an EPC. But we started somehow backwards than other companies, meaning that we started by delivering EPC services outside of Romania. We have delivered projects of almost 700 megawatts in Portugal, in Spain, in the Benelux area. But now we are also focusing on Romania. In Romania, we are among we are considered among the large EPC providers. We have the capacity to provide in Romania and outside of Romania full EPC services for about 25 megawatts per month. We have, since the end of last year, we have established also our own investment arm. And we started securing our own projects, generally from ready to build to COD and then to operate them as an IPP. We will probably have the first projects of our own in operations next year. We know very well the Romanian market. And of course, this event is not actually about us. It's about Romania and Greece. And why should Romania be interested in Greece, and why should Greece be interested in Romania? Because we are facing now a deeper and deeper integrated European market. You are already, since last month, you are already connected to the Picasso platform. We will be connected in 2026, next year. We will both be connected next year also to the Mari platform. And actually, this brings, let's say, international competition, not at our doorstep, but into our living room. And I think it's not a matter of being willing of going regional, it's a matter of being actually obliged to go regional. So we really need, both of us, Greeks and Romanians, we need to start really not thinking, but acting into becoming regional, at least regional players. That's about it for now. Maybe we are going to have
Thank you. I will kindly ask you for a short comment, and please keep the mic for a moment, because I want a short answer on this question. Please, Dan.
Yes.
I heard many times in Romania in recent weeks, and yesterday here in Greece also, this comment about the unreasonable differences in prices in Central Europe and in Southeastern Europe. 2-3 times large price on day-ahead market in this situation. A comment, how do you see the situation? I also saw the Minister of Energy in Romania pushing at Brussels about something must be done with those countries who are not acting in solidarity with the others, putting their grids to be available for all of us. How do you see this situation? Is this a problem, or is this an opportunity for the players in Romania and Greece?
Well, first of all, every problem is an opportunity.
If it doesn't kill you first.
Correct. I think it's easy to point to someone else for what is happening in your own house. I think we need to put order in our own house before pointing our fingers outwards. Yes, we have imbalancing problems, big problems, and this is because, let's say the legislation was not actually correlated, meaning we started to implement, but it is not only for us. We started to implement massively renewable projects without proper consideration to the balancing aspects. Now we're starting doing that. We have functional legislation, for instance, for storage. You know, we eliminated the transportation tariffs, so we eliminated the double taxation, yes. For instance, there is a regulation passed by our TSO that, for instance, when you have a renewable project and you provide from the beginning 4 hours of storage for the same power, for the same rated power, of course, you provide 4 hours of storage, then basically you can get rid of grid reinforcement cost. Of course, there are certain exceptions in very, very loaded areas where you still have some reinforcement costs, but generally this is the case.
It's a good step ahead,
yeah,
of course.
Yeah, it's a good step ahead. On the other hand, we have a functional CFD market like you. Now speaking of why coming to Romania, I can give you some figures because, for instance, in 2024, on the CFD market auction, we had the strike price for solar was, if I remember correctly, 65 euros per megawatt hour, and for photovoltaic was 51. But at the auction that was in April, meaning less than 2 months ago, we had a strike price of 80 euros per megawatt hour for wind, and I think 73 euros per megawatt hour for solar. So you see the market was adjusted upwards. I wouldn't fall into the trap of considering that this is the trend. I would rather say that this is the moment.
We will have another point in this potential graph in this fall when Romania will launch, as they promised, another round for CFD. So we'll see a little bit more. Thank you very much, Dan. I will now move to Philippos and ask him to say first a couple of words about Aurora and then focus on their latest report on storage solutions and how they might be used maybe differently in Romania and Greece.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for the invite and the question. For those who don't know Aurora Energy Research, we are the leaders in Europe on market analytics. The company has been more than 10 years now. It was initially in Oxford, but now we have different offices on many countries, so we can be close to market stakeholders and follow the market trends. I am based in Athens, and we cover from our office here the whole Southeastern Europe region, and for us this consists Hungary, Romania, and all the way to the south to Greece. Definitely, Romania is maybe the hottest market that we cover now from our office here. There is great appetite for investments there, and the reason for that was also discussed in the previous panel, is that maybe the country has the momentum, but it's a couple of years behind in terms of capacity development on renewables. So there are opportunities there. And these opportunities also are located on the balancing market, not only the wholesale. We see that Romania has the highest prices on imbalance cost for renewables, which is a hurdle for this technology. However, this can work as an opportunity for storage and flexible assets. And my team is the advisory, and we usually cover bespoke requests from clients. So we can be quite flexible, covering different things such as maybe strategy, feedback on CFD support, M&As, battery storage valuation, comparison between co-located and standalones. And we saw the interest in Romania being very high on storage, and that's why we developed a report that we update every 6 months. So based on that, we can compare what we see in Romania and Greece. Both countries are still lacking a very clear regulatory framework of how batteries can commit to ancillary services. We see that the TSOs in both countries are pushing and lobbying for more capacity, and it was previously also discussed that there is no clear on how many gigawatts of storage we can expect on each market. We have the NECP targets being very low, amounting of about 1.2 gigawatts of storage until 2030. And there is also the ministry lobbying for 5 gigawatts of storage until the end of 2026. So it's very hard to assess what will be the future. So, however, this showcases that there is interest for storage. There are also 2 auctions with support of 300 million for both co-located and standalone batteries. And the high imbalance cost on Romania make investments there on storage more profitable than in Greece. Other struggles, other hurdles maybe on the market is the fastest reserve on the market is the FCR. And this is a non-remunerated product in Romania, while in Greece, batteries can really capitalize from that market. So if they change the market design and maybe follow what we have in Greece, this will even
very good point. It is something particular that Romania might look at and eventually use it as a good practice. Philippos, maybe one comment on the experience in this blackout in Spain, Portugal, France. And one of the explanation I heard and seems pretty plausible is that the size of the problem would have decreased if more batteries would have been installed in the grid, so that the grid have an increased inertia or a better response to losing inertia, in fact, in milliseconds and not in seconds or minutes. How do this lesson should be transferred in legislation and regulation, I suppose? So that we have, for example, in Romania and many other countries, a market for these kind of services. Is there something that we should do as a private actors in the energy market in order to push for that? Are there any examples where already some markets like this exist?
So the question is if inertia could be offered from batteries. So inertia usually is from
not inertia to be offered, but losing inertia to be counterbalanced by very fast reaction battery.
So yeah, this is a very technical question, to be honest. So yeah, it's something that we don't cover, but I could comment that the fast response is available as a product in Romania to secure the stability of the system. However, it's not remunerated, and every flexible unit is forced to offer this when requested by ESO.
Maybe after the session, I'm interested in your views, and I'm convinced at the moment that we need this new market in place, across Europe, because there is a new technology responding to new type of challenges in the system. So we should have a market for this. Please.
I would like to say the following. Because usually the production out of renewable sources is not predictable, because you cannot predict precisely wind or sun, and because usually the demand, the installed capacity is larger than the demand, energy storage is necessary in order to guarantee this balance that you need. And I also see that these transmission system operators have done plans regarding it. And I have also seen that Transelectrica, for example, has foreseen at least 5 gigawatt of energy storage projects to be installed until end of 2026, actually. So I think we are moving towards this.
At the moment, I think that all the pressure is put on the TSOs to solve this problem. It is your duty, balance the system, or this kind of pressure only transfer in bigger tariffs, and we affect the affordability, and we have social problems, and so on. So we seem to be caught in this conundrum here. I think that individual solution provided by smaller players in the market operating in a regulated market might be the solution in rather short period of time, matters of years, I suppose. That's why I bring this to the table. Please.
I don't know if this works. Thank you. Works? Yes. Yes, again, is not the responsibility of only one player to solve all the problems. Right now, let's say from the legal regulations point of view, indeed the balancing market at TSO level is quite well regulated, and it's working. The auctions for balancing services are functional. I can give even some rough numbers, but whoever wants to hear them, I will be available after the meeting. But we do have legislation that we are working on actually to introduce legislation for flexibility services at the DSO level. And we already have legislation at prosumer level that compels them to add storage at prosumer level. And also what we are seeing now is that all the utility scale renewable projects are already being permitted with storage behind the meter. So I would expect that everything that will be, maybe not everything, but most of the projects that will be delivered starting with next year are going to be to a large extent self-balanced.
This last idea you mentioned is very good in order to prevent introducing new imbalances from now on the system. They are not enough in order to contribute to faster reaction and so on. And I think that this is not enough. Obviously, we need other approaches.
This is correct. This is correct. We would need much more storage right now in terms of standalone BESS projects at TSO level. They are coming.
You heard earlier, Stelian, he said there is no business case for that.
They are permitted.
The banks will not. The banks
exactly.
Will not
we have this problem right now that the banks are not yet familiar, and therefore they are not yet comfortable with a non-recourse financing for standalone BESS.
You think they are wrong at the moment?
From their point of view, and I can relate to their point of view because many years ago I'm coming from the financial sector, so I can relate to that. Since they are working 92% with other people's money, they have to be very careful what kind of risks they undertake. So I can relate to that. And we are working, we as market players ourselves, and also Chiga, that they were speakers before me, and I don't know, maybe you are also involved in this, to educate the financial sector and to help them to understand the storage phenomenon. And to come up
we are in a large process of
model.
educating ourselves, all of us, because...
Just 1 second, because again, this is an opportunity. Because I'm sure there are a lot of private equity funds, mezzanine funds, that have the correct risk-return profile, and they can step in. And actually, it's their moment to shine.
Okay, so you mentioned some more complex venues of getting finance, but
complex problems require complex solutions.
Thank you, thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, if any question or comments, you can show your interest, and I'll be there with the mic. We have another 9-10 minutes, I suppose, so I will suggest to move a little bit back again to the corporate perspective, not system perspective. So, Nikos, you can tell us a few words about what you find to be different, specific to Romania and doing business compared with Greece, only to inform those interested in the Romanian market on what risks or specificities they may expect?
First of all, I would like to express my feelings, to tell you my feelings about our presence in Romania over the last almost 10 months or something. We actually feel very welcome in this country as a Greek company.
You are welcome.
Everybody is very friendly to us. Having also into consideration the traditional, historical, cultural and commercial relations between Romania and Greece. This is something that was expected, but in any case, it was very nice to see that also happen. It was actually an early stage identification period for us these last months. Although this was like that, we already managed to get 2 contracts in Romania, one in the public sector, one in the private sector, and we are continuing to participate in many tenders there. Now, what is different? Okay, there are differences in the market, and they are also coming from the history, from the past. For example, public tenders. Okay, public tenders in Greece and public tenders in Romania follow certain rules and have some terms and conditions. However,
Sorry, just a moment here, a question. Did you find mandatory to have a local partner in order to understand and participate
in our office, we have already hired 2 persons, Romanians, experts in the market to support, because of course, otherwise we cannot act. But we have also a 3rd guy, Greek one, who is regularly in the country, and we will expand according to the business case. I guess it is necessary to have local support because they know the market. You are entering there. What I would like to say regarding the tenders, what I have seen that maybe from historical reasons, I don't know, there are some terms and conditions that are not aligned actually with the modern trends in Europe, in other European utilities. For example, having participated in a tender without cap on the liability of the bidder, or having to pay indemnification to the end customer in case of bad performance, that is a percentage of the turnover of the customer, which is actually an indirect loss. These are terms and conditions that we don't see in Greece, but also in other European utilities. I think this is something that the responsible persons have taken into consideration. This is one aspect that we face in the public sector. If I would like to speak for the private sector, we see the following. Because the development in the private sector actually is happening very fast, the specifications of the equipment are not following exactly the needs of the market. This happened also in Greece. When we started the EPC contractor trying to build a substation, they had to follow the specifications of the utility, which were very strict given the fact that all the equipment of the substation was the property of the owner of the substation and not of the state. Mm-hmm. So we adapted that. We have done some slightly easier specifications that do not harm the performance of the equipment, do not affect it, but on the other hand, save some cost, making the investment more attractive for the owner. And we have now slightly changed specification for the private market. I think you should also in Romania move toward this direction.
Thank you. Thank you. Very useful, both perspective you show. And once again, this comment show what all of the speakers already mentioned, that Romania is a couple of years behind in terms of developing the market compared with Greece, for example.
Yes, but don't consider this as a negative aspect. This is natural.
Okay,
you learn.
This is the situation. It's a factual description. Okay. Please, Dan, a couple of words about you. I know that you worked for some period of time in Greece, so you're quite familiar with the cultural norms and the difference, if any, compared to the Romanian market. Is there something in particular that you feel like it would be useful for our Greek friends to know when taking into consideration working with a Romanian company here or in Romania?
This is the one? Yes. No, I didn't work. I was studying here. Yes, I'm a graduate of the Alba Business School back in '97. There is a big difference between life in Greece in '97 and life in Greece today. I think all of you would agree to that. There are some cultural differences which actually they come from our geographical location. Geography always affects you. But in terms of business, I think we are quite well aligned in terms of, you know, the way we do business. We are quite well aligned, and you are already there, and we have here in this room, we have other Greek people, business people that are doing business in Romania for many years. It's easy. It's quite easy for Greek people to do business in Romania, and I'm sure it's reciprocal.
Okay, great.
We are interested in doing business in Greece. We are looking for partners.
As a matter of fact, we insisted very much on this idea that at this moment, being regional is a must for all companies involved in the energy sector, at least. So, very useful to know.
This regionalization, if you want, I think it best works when you are looking for partnerships. You don't just step in a country and try to do it your own way. You need to have a local partner who knows the local ways, even if they are similar to your own ways. There is always a difference. And this is what we have done in Serbia. In Serbia, we are present with a Serbian partner. And we are interested to do the same here.
Thank you, Philippos. In a way, the same question. I think they already mentioned some idea on how Greece is ahead of Romania in terms of regulating the storage market. But if you can share a thought or two, maybe on what you expect that will happen in Romania for the next 1 year, and what do you expect is important to be happening in Greece in the next period of time?
Very good question, and yeah, allow me to explain more what I mean with Greece being maybe a leg in front from the storage, but only maybe a few months, because the regulatory framework for batteries participation on the balancing market was under public consultation at the beginning of the year. And yeah, about a month ago it closed. So we're expecting other markets in the region, Romania, Bulgaria, to follow this trend. Romania, one could argue that it's in front in terms of development of storage on capacity mix, because Romania already has 150 active batteries in the system, while Greece has 0. So yeah, I was commenting mainly on only that specific part there. So how the market would, what will be the developments within the next year in Greece? We expect that we're going to have negative prices on the balancing energy market, and this is something that Romania has for a lot of years, and maybe it's also leading to that very high volatility and very high imbalance cost in the system. This will be also a benefit for batteries and for renewables to offer dispatchable services that currently is a pain that we have grid curtailment, very high grid curtailment rates in Greece. In Romania, we foresee a lot of development of renewable assets that will be complemented also with storage. So we see more co-located projects penetrating the market than we see in Greece. In Greece, we had already the 3 rounds of CFD auctions, and now the ministerial decision giving connection terms of 4 gigawatts of storage, but still for a standalone project. So each market choosing its own path, and I think this has to do with Greece being already very congested with renewables, while Romania still having the opportunity you commented also before.
Thank you, gentlemen, for this conversation. I think that it was very informative, for me at least it was, and it would provide us at Energynomics with a solid base for some follow-up editorial efforts. Some articles will be published online and in the near future. Thank you also the organizers for having us here, I think, but especially in this session we put together the economics and the engineer. So the economist, energy economist in Greece had us here for 2 hours, and thank you very much for this. We will stop now. I think that we'll have the final comments now. Please. Thank you very much. Thank you also for attention.